Morning, Glenn Douglas, Town Underground. Today's video is actually a two-part. It covers two different meetings. The June 15th meeting and this July 20th meeting of the Londonderry Town Council. The subject of the meeting on June 15th was a resident had brought forward and two town councils had raised concerns over the chair and vice chair disproportionately utilizing legal services without the full knowledge of the town council, which was discussed as potentially violating the charter. The response from the chair was to form a legal subcommittee, which would consist of himself and the vice chair that would vet all attorney requests. Councilors Paul and Bouchard argued that the move to consolidate power and circumvent requirements of the council, which should act as a unified body, they were opposed to the committee. Despite warnings and questions about the subcommittee being legal, the chair brought forward a motion to vote on the committee. It passed 3-2. I believe the chair said that they would vote on it and then they would get a legal opinion to see if the subcommittee was legal. We jump in forward to the July 20th meeting. Councilor Bouchard had asked for a report, see if this committee had done anything. And he also asked for a copy of the legal opinion. The chair at the time, excuse me, read the opinion. Councilor Paul, I believe, asked if she could get a copy of it, which the chair responded yes. The following morning, I emailed the town council and asked if I could get a copy of the legal opinion. And in addition to the opinion, I requested who rendered the opinion and when it was received. That was on the 21st. As of today, the 26th, the town council chair has not acknowledged the email and has not provided a copy of the opinion. So the following videos, because I like to show the whole content, you folks can decide for yourself what's going on. Is both meetings. If you are on YouTube watching this, you can jump ahead by the bookmarks. You can see the different segments and when each video starts. If you're watching on Facebook, you have to scroll through the entire video. Again, this is Glenn Douglas, Town Underground. That's it for today. Thank you.
Let's see, up next we have discuss the request from a resident sponsored by Councilor Bouchard. I want to turn it over to you, Councilor Bouchard.
Yeah, I had a resident put in a request to talk about the use of legal counsel. I know it was tabled by Councilor Faber. We've tried to take it off the table in the past and it said no. So I sponsored it and I'd like to hear from our citizen.
Just a correction, it wasn't tabled by me. We had to have a vote on it. 3 councilors at least had to vote to table it.
You made a motion to table it.
Robin, do you want to speak? Come on up.
So if you don't mind, I wrote this just to get my thoughts in line. So I'd like to take a minute or so of your time to explain why I petitioned to have this legal use policy put back on the agenda, have it discussed and hopefully approved. I'm sorry, thanks. The policy was requested by residents after concerns were raised about the use of legal advisors. The legal bills are quite high and have been for years. As for the council's use of legal, it appears that 2 members use the vast majority of the time by far. I question why the chair and the vice chair need to be on the same call the majority of the time. At the council meetings, many times they mention, including Ted, had discussed it. They had brought it to the attorney, and the other 2 counselors had no idea what was going on because they had not been involved. This is a direct violation of the town charter, section 4.8, which states the council should act in all matters as a body. The same exact quote in the Londonderry Municipal Code, section 4B. Having been written in 2 governing documents of the town, the assumption would be that it would be adhered to with some kind of sincerity. Some of the purposes of a legal use policy is to control legal costs and to ensure a unified legal direction. Without policies, it promotes disorganized communication, which leads to many problems such as inefficiencies, conflicting advice, conflicted problem solving, fractured counsel, and exposed town liabilities. With all these, they are all evident in the town council at this point and in total opposition of what is stated in the town documents. It was most concerning to me as a resident that when the subject of the legal use policy was brought forth, it was tabled and it was refused to be discussed. Research tells me most towns, and this is a solution, and cities discuss issues together as a council. And if the decision is made to bring it to legal, one person does so, and the answers are sent to all members, thereby providing the same information to everyone. We as residents deserve to have a policy that provides limited legal expenses with information being shared by all on the council. To do so would be the best for the town and not cater to individual agendas. We deserve a council that follows the legality of the town documents and considers the tax burden that their behaviors are putting on the taxpayers by using or abusing this system. I'd like to see this be moved forward tonight. Thank you for your time.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, when you said the chair and the vice chair disproportionately used the legal services, where do you get that information from?
So I did my homework. I read the town documents, and I looked at the bills from, I believe it was October through March. And there was nothing from Dan, nothing from Deb, 1 from Ted, and the rest were from the 2 of you, and the 2 of you were together the majority of the time. So it's on the records. I mean, you can look it up.
I did look at last month's legal bills in preparation for this.
I didn't see last month.
No, I know. I've used them 0 in the last month. There may have been issues where, we're on there trying to hear some things, but I just want to know where you got the information from.
There were times that it was like, there was one that was like 4 hours on a Sunday evening. I don't know why anybody needs to talk to an attorney on a Sunday evening. It could wait till Monday.
It doesn't mean we were on the phone with them 4 hours. What that means is they could have done work on there. That doesn't mean that we specifically.
I believe it said a phone call, but I can go back and look it
Okay.
up.
I
I
just
believe
don't
it was in
recall that,
January. Is that it? Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I've got something else.
Okay, good.
So I think there needs to be a policy in place because the way it's been done and continues to be done, it's a drain on the taxpayers of this community. I'd like to ask Mr. Campbell, what, as of today, how much is our legal line up to that we've expended?
For fiscal year 2026, we have a budget of $200,000, and through today, we have spent $281,298.98.
And that's not including any of these investigations that are going on, or have you been paying those?
It does not include all of them. That is what we are currently aware of, what we've received invoices for. I believe the last attorney bill we received for general is as of April, so we're missing May's as well.
Okay. So it seems to me that councilors just call the attorney for various reasons without the body, the 5 of us, being aware of it or approving it. It clearly states in the Town Charter, Section 4.8, Town Council shall act in all matters as a body under the Town Charter, including regarding the Town Manager. Now, Council Chair has the attorney email the council members to set up a meeting. Then we get billed for it. Gives the attorney a document that he received from the town manager to send to the council. I don't understand why, as chair, you wouldn't just send that directly to the council without having to send it to the attorney and ring up the legal bills. Ask if we were requesting a legal opinion on it, and I have not seen anything on that document being given a legal opinion. These investigations that are underway are on a unanimous vote of the council. The first investigation, I told you there was nothing there, and I am confident when the investigation is finalized, the town manager and myself will be vindicated. And I can't wait to see what the legal bill is going to be on that one, because we are paying the attorney to investigate it, and we're paying the town attorney as a go-between because it's secret. It's a secretive investigation. We don't want anybody knowing. So we're paying for two attorneys in this whole thing. Again, adding the cost of the taxpayers. So we sit in meetings with the attorney, and in some cases, we just ignore the advice because some people have an agenda. You heard Bob Slater tell the council at public comment how they handle issues at the school side with the attorney, yet we continue to operate recklessly on the town side. At the last meeting, it was stated I was violating the law and giving out misinformation by the chair and the vice chair. Everyone should be involved. Recently, we had a meeting that I believe violated RSA 91A and violated the law. And I told you this. This was on the June 3rd meeting. It was posted under RSA 91A3 to consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. There's no legal advice from an attorney. We were discussing hiring an attorney to represent the town council. Ron, you said to me after a meeting that we would have interviews with potential attorneys as a board. That is not what happened. You went out, spoke to an attorney, and that was what the council was given. No interviews, no choices. You didn't even ask or have a motion to hire this attorney. And you had no vote, yet tonight I see on the consent agenda to approve an engagement letter with Shaheen and Gordon. So I'm going to make a motion that we take off the table TC 105 so we can schedule a reading on it and move it forward.
Mr. Chair,
Absolutely.
I would just like to make a note that Councilor Bouchard is referencing items within privileged meetings, and we can't really comment without being in violation, but I just would like to make a note that I believe he is in violation of doing illegal acts by referencing said meetings.
Well, I'll tell you, we did not seal those minutes. Those minutes are not sealed and they're open to the public. So anybody in the public that wants to see those minutes are welcome to it. So it's not private. It's unsealed. So I'll make a motion to take TC 105 off the table so we can discuss this.
We're still in discussion, Dan. We haven't gotten near there yet. So first off, let's correct a few things you said.
Okay, let's correct.
Because there's a few things you said. After what you brought forward at the meeting, I felt that as the chair, it was urgency that this council was represented, okay? And I had said to the entire council that we currently were looking for representation, okay? And we hadn't gotten any guidance at all, okay? So that statement that you made is inaccurate, because
No, it's
you're
not.
saying that we had no representation at all during that meeting. So I felt the need as chair to go out and get us representation because we were not represented.
So I will make it clear again, Ron, all right, that we went under RSA 91A:3, 1, consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel. We didn't get any advice from legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. We were talking about hiring an attorney. We weren't talking about advice that we got from an attorney.
Okay?
So we can agree to disagree on that one, but that's what took place.
Mr. Chair,
I told you my objection at that meeting, that we were in violation of 91A.
Mr. Chair. This, and I'd like to speak uninterrupted, is a pure example of why attorney bills are where they are. Because every tiny little move is dissected to death on Dan's piece of paper to try to go, this was illegal, that was illegal, everything's illegal. But we're just supposed to not check with attorneys or do anything. The problem is, you've created such an environment where attorneys have to be checked every time someone coughs or moves a piece of paper, because you're so certain that all these laws were violated. So that equals legal bills. If legal bills truly are your concern, as they were last meeting when you were trying to ram us through an investigation of a counselor without legal representation, then it should be consistent across the board of when we access the attorneys, not just things that benefit you or how you feel things should go. This is a good example of why legal bills are where they are.
Well, they are where they are, because if you want to reference Counselor Coombs reaching out to the attorney because he all of a sudden decided, this is going to cost me money if I do my 91A, so I'll do it as a counselor. And if you're going to do that and you're going to tie up town council and have the taxpayers pay for it, that's wrong. All right? We as a body have not voted or decided saying, yeah, let's have the attorney handle these requests that he asks about all these emails.
So we have, as a body, actually decided on use of legal counsel. I can't reference any of that because of where it took place. You may pretend you don't know. You may half reference those, again, in violation of the law. But there is clear and present and lawful things being done. You can continue to make the show for the public because you know we can't say the full aspect of it. By all means, continue. But I will sit here and keep in compliance with the law and not reference it regardless of how many untruths you speak.
Well, I'll disagree
I
that
think
on that, Mr. Chair.
that's right.
All
Anything
right.
further, Dan? I might have a solution for us.
I'd like to say something.
Oh, please, go ahead. Yeah, please.
If you don't mind.
Please, yeah, this is
I
what we're
want
here.
to say a lot of this stuff is because we don't do the town business in the public. We are so worried about whatever, like you just said, oh, we're going to get sued, we're going to do this, we got to go ask a lawyer. Instead of doing it right here in the public, where it's recorded in front of everybody, where we have witnesses, that's where we should be doing a lot of this business. Yeah, there are complaints. They're already out there. What's the big secret deal? It's just ridiculous. This is what happens when you do, this is my opinion, okay? It just is what happens when you do something someplace else, and these poor people have bits and sound bites and this have no idea. It's hard. You got to figure out which complaints, how many complaints, what meeting, this meeting, that meeting. There's so much. It's ridiculous. It should all be done in public. We're not hurting anybody's reputation. We're not, talking about people's salaries or jobs. We're talking about, for the most part, every single one of them are anonymous complaints, for the most part. And we all said they were stupid, and yet we're moving forward, and nothing is... what is it's doing is causing great animosity and just wasting time, wasting money, instead of just saying what it is. I don't know what everybody's so afraid of to say out front. That's the problem, in my opinion. It really is. Because then you go back there and nobody else can hear it. And, oh, well, that's not how I remember it. That's how I remember it. Nothing's recorded. Nothing's written down. And so it becomes my word against your word, against his memory, against my memory. And I'm just trying to keep it as honest as I can. And I just don't see any need to be hiding in all of this stuff. I think all of it, and even if it was me being complained, and it was me at one point, and I did put it all out there because I don't care.
Right. But Deb, I think as a council, we have an obligation when we get a complaint, whether it's
Yes,
anonymous
but we
or
don't
not,
have to go in a
to look into
closet
it.
and do it.
Right, but we also have to protect the privacy of that individual.
But none of it
And
is.
it has to be protected, but Deb, you
But
can't.
it's already out there. The complaints
But
about
it
every
wasn't
one
put
of
out
us,
there by me.
except for you, is
It was.
it's out there
But
already.
if we have a complaint, we have to keep it confidential.
But nothing of this is confidential, Ron. It's already been out in the public.
But
If it
who
is,
put it
it's
out
because,
there?
yeah.
It wasn't put out by me.
But the point is,
So-
it's not confidential anymore. It's like saying the cat in the closet is pink. Nobody
Well-
knows it, but everybody does knows it because everybody on social media has already talked about
If
it.
everybody does know it, the only way they could have found out is from 5 of us or the attorney.
And there's no.
No, it was 91A. Once it became a document, and it was already put out there.
But they don't know the reason.
We know it's an anonymous complaint,
Right.
and we
But
know,
that's-
and most
and
of
that's
the
where it
people
needs to stop,
know what the
because-
complaints are.
And the only way they could have found out is if someone told them.
That is,
I'm just saying, because
I don't. I then tell me how Glenn or whatever got the documents because he had documents, and I believe he 91A'd them. I wish he was here, but he has family issues. But that's beside the point.
all right, I may have an issue. I may have.
Just 1 second, Ron. Why, we were supposed to be here to discuss a policy. If you had a policy, most of this would
Exactly.
be moot because you would
Exactly.
have
All
a
right.
way to follow, and you're not
All right.
even discussing that issue.
We do have a policy.
We do have. Okay.
And we've had
So-
a policy in the past. So when we say, and this has come up before, and that's the only reason I'm correcting this with other things, is when we revise a policy or procedure, it doesn't mean there was no policy procedure. All counselors in all years past have ever operated just doing whatever they
Right,
felt like.
I understood where you said we would go the old way, but the old way is not working. There was a new policy, and we're
All right.
not even attempting it, and that was the whole point of me filing this.
All right. Thank you. All right. I may have a solution here. I looked at the charter, and in the charter, the council is allowed to establish a subcommittee. A subcommittee can be established to look at legal review, or it could be used to have a special legal subcommittee that would speak to the lawyers and then come back to the council and discuss it, so that if we created this subcommittee, all issues regarding the town council and pertaining to the town council would be discussed with this legal subcommittee. This subcommittee would consist of 2 people because we can't have a quorum of 3. I would suggest that it be the chair and the vice chair. This will save us legal costs, and the subcommittee will report back to the council, saving legal costs, saving what you're saying, rather than having a lawyer email us. We, as a subcommittee, report back to the council all of the pertaining legal issues. And it would save us money in the long run, because we'd only have interaction with the subcommittee, and the subcommittee would be interacting with the rest of the council, thus saving us attorney fees of coming to meetings and things like that.
So in other words, nothing would change. It's going to stay the same because it's going to be the chair and the vice chair.
No, because to your point, Dan, now there wouldn't be any more having someone send out the email, as you complained about, that cost money.
Yeah.
It would be coming from the subcommittee that would send out the email and say, we're going to have a meeting to discuss attorney.
So, Mr. Chair, I want to make this very simple. You don't need a subcommittee for that. All right? You as the chair are the one that should be reaching out to all of us, all 5 of us, and letting us know what the question is to the attorney, what the response is from the attorney. So we all get the same questions and the same answer.
In
You don't need a
timely
you don't need a subcommittee for that. It's very simple.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, please go ahead.
I guess I'm in favor of that because right now we've got it coming in from all directions. If there's a concern, a true concern to limit legal costs, we can limit that. We can actually control it because as it is right now in looking through the bills, again, 2 counselors didn't show up on the bills and we've got to get some kind of hold on it. If we're as, you know, the chair and vice chair of the council being held accountable for the legal bills, we have to get a grip on it. And if we're going to have to get a grip on it, then yeah, we need to do something in that aspect. And so I agree with you.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah, please.
So what you're saying is 2 members of the council have the authority to expend funds.
No, to the way that I would propose this special legal subcommittee would be, from my reading of it, and I haven't had, and we haven't had any attorney. This is just my interpretation of it. That the subcommittee would review the documents so that we didn't have things like what Dan's complaining about, where the attorney is emailing the council. The subcommittee, or I would email the council to save money, and that subcommittee would have more control over the whole thing and be able to limit the cost and share it themselves with the council, written, you know, they don't, whatever, but that way we're not involving the attorneys to come to each meeting. Because one of the things that we've noticed is that, you know, when we have a meeting, and you pointed it out, the attorney is there, and we're paying them. So this would alleviate that whole problem.
Keeps us on subject.
And yeah, we wouldn't be wasting any attorney money. We would already have the documents, we could discuss them, and then,
So let me ask you this. So Counselor Coombs calls the attorney about wanting all the emails. That's okay? From the town manager?
so in this new system, that would not be okay.
So he would have to go to you and ask you to do that?
Go to the subcommittee. If it was made up of both of us, it would be the subcommittee, and then, so I believe, just to answer your question, I believe that you've called the attorney on your own before, and so has Deb. So I don't want to single out Ted. I want to, don't think you've never called them.
No, I
You
called
called
him.
them and
I
not
called
asked
him
me.
to ask him about where's the legal opinion,
Right.
That's what I
So,
did.
but I'm just saying,
and I got nothing.
but don't make
I didn't
yourself
get
out to
anything.
be the public like you've never called them on your own. You've called them also. So Ted
Yeah,
called to
probably
ask
once.
a quick question, but under this new policy that I'm asking about, that would not be allowed.
Okay, so as a counselor, I want a question asked of the attorney. So I give it to you?
You would give it to the subcommittee. If we choose to make it the chair and the vice chair, yes, you would present it to me.
And then you would do what with
I
it?
would give it to the attorney, and then the attorney, if you wished it in writing, I would get a communication back in writing from the attorney, and we'd present it to the entire council. We wouldn't have to have the attorney at the meeting.
Okay, so here's my issue with that. One person is going to authorize expending funds or not expending funds with the attorney without the entire body approving it.
So that wouldn't be the case.
It's not one person. I
Well,
suggested
that's what I'm
two.
asking you.
I-
I'm trying to
so
get
the-
clarification, Sean.
The council in the charter has the right to create committees via a body, which would be equal a majority of vote, because that's what the definition of a body means, not the liberal definition that we've been getting. We can authorize that, and we can grant our authority to that committee to carry out the tasks in order to gain a control over this situation, which I think we all agree is a problem. And so I think that would be the justified solution to help narrow this down.
So
And
you're-
if it doesn't work, okay, we do other things, but.
So what you're saying, Sean, is the body is 2 people and that works?
No, I'm not saying the body is 2 people, and I didn't say the body
That's
is 2
what
people.
I'm asking. That's what I'm
I'm
trying
saying is
clarification.
as a body, we have to approve that. So it has to be by majority vote, which is what the definition of how as a body works. And as a body is not a unanimous vote. And as a body means we, as this body, take a vote, we act, as we act in all other matters, where sometimes it's 4-1, sometimes it's 5-0, sometimes it's 3-0. So if he's proposing that, then one of us makes a motion, we vote on it, and if we approve it as a body, then we approve it. If we don't approve it as a body, then the authority is not there, because one or two councilors cannot do that.
So if we approve what Ron is saying, then he or you will be the deciding factors as far as who talks to the attorney and how much we're getting.
We need to
For
cut down on
information.
communications with the attorneys. We've all agreed to that.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I
So-
We also need to cut
So I
back on
don't-
doing things behind the doors. How is this committee gonna function? Is it
So-
gonna be public? Is all this stuff gonna be public? Cause
None-
it should
So,
be.
None of our attorney conversations are public as it stands right now.
so
They should, most of them should be, because really, they don't talk about anything that's, in my mind, a big secret.
So the way I envision this saving us money is, to Dan's point, rather than having, you call, the subcommittee decides whose calls. You ask a question, okay? You say, hey, I want this brought to the attorney. If we bring it to the attorney, we get a legal opinion back, we meet as a body, we discuss it, okay? If for some reason if for some reason I say, Dan, I don't think that's appropriate, then you bring it in front of the entire body and you say, hey, I asked the subcommittee a question. They decided not to move it forward. I would like to know why. And then I'll tell you why beforehand, but if you choose to bring it in public, you can bring it in public. But I don't think that I've ever denied you or Ted or anybody. I've never denied anybody access to the attorney.
no, you're
Never
right.
have.
And
So it's just a way, I think, to control it a little bit better. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. sir.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you.
I just think it's a better way to control it. If you ask me a question, then I'm going to bring it to the attorney if you think it's valid. I've never not brought anything you guys concerned to the attorney. I've never not done it. So I've always allowed you guys. I just think it'll control the expenses better for us.
But who controls you two?
Yeah.
Who gives
do.
you but we don't know when you're going to the attorneys with questions. We don't know as the other three counselors, if you two are the
Because
subcommittee.
we report back to you.
But you've already done it. Are you going to come to us and say, do I have permission to go to the attorney to ask this question? Or
No.
are you just going to make your self-prescribed prescription to say, yep, I want to do this?
Well, it's
That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
no check and balance there. It's you. You're going to be checking Dan, me, and Ted's question and saying whether or not it's valid or should be moved forward to the attorneys. But who's checking your questions?
I guess you would when you get the attorney bill if you're upset
But
with
then
it.
it's
or,
already too
or I
late
guess,
because
I
it's
know.
too late.
it's the library. The library went through the same thing when they had all their members accessing the attorneys all at one time, and they came to a similar conclusion where they started routing things through the chair. The councils in the past have routed things through the chair, so we're just doing this in a.
When I was on the council with Councilor Farrell and Mike Malaguti and Kevin Smith and Bill Hart, how it all worked was you would go to the chair, say you had a question, or you would go to the town manager. Everyone would be aware of the question and that it was being submitted. And everyone at the exact same time would get the answer.
Okay.
That's the way it should work.
Okay.
Because we're all equal.
Right.
Not this one's got more. That's really what you're creating is more power.
No, I'm actually creating a system. What you're saying is,
No.
you ask me a question, I'm gonna get you an answer and get it back to everybody.
No, Sean, Ron, there's no checks and balance there because, well, as she said, all right, there's Ted, myself, and Counselor Paul that we have to go to you, but the two of you can just go free willy to the attorney, which is what I've brought up. I mean, I've brought it up because I've looked at the bills. I've seen, where things I'm like, this is a complete waste of time asking the attorney to send out these emails to everybody when it could be done by the chair. Or the chair can go to the town manager and say, distribute this out to everybody. Plain and simple. When you got that document that morning that I got from the attorney, I called because I questioned it going, what is this? Are we getting a legal opinion on this, or what is it? I was asked by the chair to distribute this out. And I'm like, well, that's a waste of money, because the chair could have easily said, when he got it, to the town manager, say, can you send this out to all the members?
I would put the question back to you. You could have just called me, Dan, and asked me. You wasted the town's money. I'm just saying, we go back and forth here. Like, it's like yin and yang. Like,
I wasted the town's money.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I wasted the town's
We
money
as the council
because
had agreed that illegal communication would go through the chair. That was our agreement. And yet you never asked.
no, because
So, I'm just saying
because
that you're
I didn't ask, because I have asked you on things in the past and never got a response. So why am I going to ask when we have the meeting? All right. It's like, we have a gentleman comes up here and he says he emails you
okay.
and you don't respond. All right.
Dan, let's get our point.
I've done the same thing.
About legal things here.
I've done the same thing. All right. I have asked and got 0 back from you.
Okay.
So what am I going to do? Reach out to you again? No.
Okay.
So this whole legal thing has to be addressed. I don't see your system as a checks and balance with everybody. I talked to the school board, and when the school board does it, and Bob Slater has said this in the past to us, when he has a question, he goes to his board and says, this is the issue. You all in agreement to reach out to the attorney. And that's how it works. Then he gets that information. He sends it to everybody. All right. We don't get that here. So I don't see how, if it works for them, why can't it work on the town side?
Under this new system, that would work. That's how it would.
That doesn't work. That's the same thing that's going on right now.
Am I jumping you?
No.
Okay. Crazy question. I'm listening to you guys talk. Not all of the questions, I haven't seen the questions, just so you know, that you send to the attorneys. But I don't believe that all of them have to go to the attorney. We pay like $27,000, $30,000 a year to that New Hampshire Municipal Association, have access to lawyers. We have a town manager that we're paying a good chunk of change for, who is very well versed in a lot of these things. Whether you trust him or not, he's not going to violate it and not going to give you misinformation, because then he'd lose his job. So he's going to give you,
How would he lose his job for that?
if he gave us bad information,
Yeah.
when we reviewed him, you wouldn't hire him, keep him on board, would you?
He could flat out lie to us for an hour straight, and we couldn't fire him. Like, it doesn't work
But if you
that
found
way.
that, and when his contract came up, you would say, look, you violated this.
Only if 3 of us agreed on that.
Well, you already have 3. So that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is, we have a wealth of knowledge sitting there.
He's not an attorney.
Again, this isn't between you and me.
No, I
This
know.
is a general speak.
Yeah.
I don't care who's sitting there, whether it's I'm trying to think of somebody. Kevin Smith is a town manager. They knew stuff. You would go to them and say, look, I got a question about this. We should be taking advantage of their suggestion. You don't have to do it, but their suggestion, they may say, yes, that really does need to go to a lawyer. It needs to escalate to here. Or, I don't know. Or, let's just ask the municipal association, see what they say. And if they say it's kind of, we really don't need legal, then we don't. But we're not even doing, it's like everything from what I can understand and what I see on these bills that have been out there seems to be going straight to the lawyer. I see no logic. For me, it's very illogical what we're doing. And there isn't anything that I could find actually written that has a good say as to what is really an escalation of a problem that you need to pay $370 an hour or $400, whatever we're getting charged an hour to escalate it, to bring it to the attorney. Because at that point, y'all know this, your question better be phrased exactly right, because they're only going to answer it a certain way, depending on how you ask that question. So we should really be very, all of us, very mindful about the questions we are going to ask these people, and if we really need to even take that question to that level. And that's another huge problem. And that's why when you have a legal policy, you can say, okay, here's the thing. You have a question. Sean has a question, right? He thinks it should go to the lawyer. He tells you. You talk to the manager. The manager says, well, here are my 3 things. Here's what the municipal says. At this point, yes, this is a thing that needs to be escalated to an attorney, or we could just use the municipal. So, because if we're not using them, why are we paying that money every year? To have what, one right to know class? When I could have got you that one from the chair of the New England Right to Know Association, run by somebody that I know. And we chose not to do that. It wouldn't have cost us anything. So I'm just trying to be logical here. This isn't I like you, I don't like you. This isn't, this is just saying, here's the information. What's the solution? We're going back and forth. But the problem is, what questions are deemed that way? What is the thing to escalate it? And what should be the steps that we follow? All of us the same. Whether Dan has a question, Ted has a question, I have a question, Sean, how does it work for each one of us? I have this question. What do I do?
So I proposed the subcommittee to answer all your questions. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like this.
Why form another committee? Right now we have a chair.
But you guys haven't done that. You guys just unilaterally have
Because
gone.
nobody knows what the policy, what the procedure is it's not there. It's not, okay, if any counselors have any issues and they're not sure if it's legal or not, this is what you do. You ask the chair this question. The chair will then voice it, or you ask the town manager. These are your options as a council. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not there. What
But do
escalates
you
it?
need that? Like, you need a step by
Yeah, I
step?
think you do.
Mr.
It's
Chair?
obviously that we do, because we can't agree.
I just don't, I just don't see why we're having such a hard time trying to move forward on a policy on the use of legal counsel.
I don't think we're
it-
having a hard time. And
Well, you might not think so, but the only thing, and I'm talking to the chair, so I'd like it if you didn't interrupt.
it's a council. It's not a
All right.
one-on-one
So,
conversation.
Mr. Chair, so what you have now is your proposal is not changing anything. It's the status quo. It's the same thing that's going on now. So I just don't understand. Our bills, we
Mr.
just heard from Justin.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just waiting for,
Oh, no, I was waiting for you to be done, and then I asked to speak.
we just heard from Justin over 280,000. The last meeting, it was 230. So now we're at 280. And that doesn't even include the investigation that I was interviewed on, all right, for several hours. And I can just imagine what that bill's going to be when that comes in. I mean, we talked when Mr. Esty said, how much did we pay for Councilor Paul's investigation? I told you at that time it was ridiculous, but we paid over 8,000. All right.
Would you like to disclose if you voted for it?
So, Mr. Chair, so that was over 8,000. All right. Now we've got other investigations going on. I can see this is going to be very expensive. You talk about they're anonymous. We have to protect the person. Who are we protecting? The anonymous person? Are we no, Mr. Chair, are we protecting the person that the allegation's been made against?
Mr. Chair.
So if I had an allegation against me, I would want to know what it was. I wouldn't want it, to be kept secretive and all that. And then all of a sudden an attorney reaches out to me and other people and it gets out there. So I'm just asking that we look at a policy for the use of legal counsel, because we're going to be well over
Let me just
300.
answer Dan's question, and then I'll let you speak. All right. I just want to.
Yeah.
So Dan, so I can just tell you that if I was investigating you, why would I tell you I'm investigating you? That's going to allow you time to prepare, do all kinds of things that maybe shouldn't be done. I'm not saying anybody do that, but I'm saying we don't typically tell the person that we're investigating them. That's why we keep it anonymous, and we don't disclose that. So we keep the person's, however the result comes out, we keep it so that that person's reputation is intact. Because if it comes back and says they did nothing, we've now said that they were investigated for this, this, and this, and then nothing happened. We're better off saying we investigated, we found nothing, and
That's wrong.
clear.
So,
Go ahead.
so
Sorry.
So I guess we've heard from both of them several times. We know free and clear where they stand. I guess I would like to make a motion that we create a legal subcommittee with the chair and the vice chair as the members.
I will second that motion.
Chairman Dunn?
Yeah.
Point of order.
Please.
So we're adopting policy that we don't have in writing. We normally have a first reading, we have a public hearing on that. That's been our process. So now, for some reason on this policy, we're going to do something different. This is the first time we've heard it tonight. We just heard earlier, we have to have time to think about these things. And now you just made this decision like that. So that's a little bit concerning that we change the rules when they're convenient for us to do so. So I would suggest to you that that's not wise. Number two, I would suggest that you have legal counsel review what you've just said. Because what you're doing is you're allowing two people, which you don't have the authority to do, to expend funds. They're going to make the decision about how much time is spent with that attorney. Every quarter hour they charge you for that. What they produce for products. That would be delegating that authority to you, which you cannot do. You should get a legal opinion on it before you make that mistake, sir.
Mr. Chair, I did sponsor this, and I do have somebody that also wants to speak on this. So I'd like to hear from
Sure.
them.
I can. It's fine. It's Dan's motion.
Yep.
But it's not a public hearing, so.
I know it's not a public hearing, but it was something that was sponsored, and I've asked, and then, I have an individual that wants to speak on this, and then,
We can't
Right.
just keep having.
So
'cause we
Robin
could
Stewart is
call
the one that we allowed to speak, so. Anyone else would have to speak during public comment. That's only fair, Dan. Be consistent.
The chair can.
you're not consistent, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion in a second.
Jesus,
So
doesn't look good.
I guess I'm just going to ask you a question of you, sir. I'm just looking at the charter, seeing that the council can propose a subcommittee,
Yes.
and I don't believe there's anything that I'm doing that is not correct.
Subcommittees don't have the authority to expend funds. They go back and they provide advice. This is what we looked into this for you. Here's the advice we're providing. You're going to be expending funds.
Okay.
That's what you're going to be doing. And that means you don't have the authority to delegate to a smaller group the authority to expend public funds. That's why in the charter and in the law, which was not mentioned tonight, you must act. When you spend money, you are acting. You must act as a body. And that's you're trying to circumvent that. I know that's not what you're trying to do, but that's what you are doing, is you are circumventing the law and the charter. That's why it's written the way it is.
If that would be the case, then the motion would end up being invalid after it, even if we vote yes on it. So we can vote on it, and if it ends up being invalid, it ends up being invalid.
And that's gonna cost legal fees.
Well,
anything would co- anything-
anything would
legal
cost
fees
legal
again.
fees to look at.
Because we can't agree.
But
It all
Debbie,
comes
either
down
way,
to legal fees.
that the town manager's asking me to get a legal opinion. So if we vote on this,
He's advising you.
and then
doesn't mean you have to do
I get a
it.
legal opinion,
Doesn't mean
and
you
then I
have
share
to
it with the
do
council,
though.
that's
It doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because he said it doesn't mean. How many times has he said stuff to you?
You could
and
do
you
a
said
crazy
no?
thing right now. You could vote to get a legal opinion on this issue, then you'd be doing it right.
okay.
Or you could say, town manager, you go do that.
Not do that. Let's create it. We've got a motion on the table, and we need to vote on the motion.
Well, I suggest you keep breaking the law. Go ahead.
Well, you've been doing it all night.
No, I haven't.
Just so you know, guys, we're watching. They don't care.
So call for your vote, then.
All right, so I have a motion from,
Me.
a motion from Sean and a second from Ted to do a subcommittee as a part of the town council, and I will review it with legal counsel after we vote on it to make sure that it is legal. And if it is not legal, then I will come back and
Will you
report that
pay
it's
for
not.
it? Will you personally pay for that?
That's ridiculous.
Deb,
Look at it as your own wallet when you're doing
He is
this.
paying for it.
I am a
So
taxpayer.
would you pay that? I'm asking you a personal question.
this-
Would you do it? Would you pay a lawyer to get that advice?
I think it's important to get it for us.
All right, then.
I think it's
So,
important.
so
for
you're
us.
saying we shouldn't get the advice and we should just assume it's legal?
So, Mr.
I'm
Chair,
saying you shouldn't do it at all. I'm saying you should just have a policy that says, if you have a question, you just write it down and you give it to you. It's simple. Why do we got to make it so complex?
Because I think that we as a
How about
board have
this?
made it that way.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
Instead of Sean, make it Dan or me. That would be fair. Me and you, or them and you. Why does it have to be you two?
We're the chair and vice chair of the committee.
I just think
Big
think
deal.
having
You
the-
got appointed there. Big deal. What is the? You have more power than me, Sean, because you're vice chair, because you can sit in and run a meeting. No.
No, I'm
You
saying
got
it just makes
elected
sense.
Just like I got elected. We're all the same. All of us.
We are.
Equal. Equal. So don't be
No,
all
we are.
a high and mighty, because you're not.
All right.
I never said that.
You're behaving that way.
Only in your eyes.
I.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Chair, can we please
Anybody?
go to the
All
vote?
right. I'm going to call the vote.
Anybody? Really?
Okay. So I have a motion from Sean, a second from Ted, that I will create this subcommittee and we will bring it to the attorney, have them
Be
check
fair.
it over, and if the attorney gives the okay, I will report back to the council and to the public that it is legal or is not legal.
and who is in the subcommittee, just to be clear?
It would be the chair and the vice chair.
Okay.
Take the vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed, it's
Councilor
illegal.
Paul and Bouchard oppose. Chair votes in the affirmative.
Mr. Chair, when are we going to hear about the legal subcommittee? Are we going to get a report from them, or, I mean, I know that you said you were hoping July 6th meeting, we would have an opinion on this. I'm still waiting. This is the 20th. What's the status with this subcommittee?
Sure, Dan. I was, with the issues that happened, I didn't mention it, but thank you, Dan, for reminding me. I was asked to get a legal opinion on the use of the subcommittee. I have that legal opinion. The full subcommittee has voted to establish, the full council has voted to establish a subcommittee and delegated its authority to the subcommittee. The subcommittee is not authorizing any expenditures. The full council has approved the engagement letters and authorized legal expenses as necessary. The town charter explicitly authorizes the council to delegate its authority to the subcommittee.
That's the legal opinion. Can we get a copy of that legal opinion?
Yes, sir.
Because I got questions on it. So
Yes.